Looky-loos, welcome back to another episode of Disturbing Reasons to Be Afraid of the Dark. I hope you're ready to get scared today and a little creeped out. I am trying to do 3 videos today, possibly 4 because one is probably too long. So, I'm looking forward to finishing it today. I'll be wearing the same thing every video. I do not change too much. It's too much work. My bedroom's back there. I have to move the backdrop. I am not going through all that today because it's going to take me longer because I have a puppy. But anyway, not like it's a... talk like she's a child. But she kind of is to me, I guess. But today we're going to be talking about the myrtles plantation. I love this. I am from Louisiana, but I lived, I think, about an hour away from this. I lived in Broussard. This is in St. Francisville. We have made plans to go soon, so whenever we do go, I will give y'all a tour of the myrtles plantation. I don't know if I could do that, but I'll try my best maybe to like stay in the background and show y'all. And I can't wait to do a video on that and how my night goes. It's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. I'm too excited. But anyway, let's get started without further ado. Let's talk about the myrtles plantation. And yes, I took my candle down because it kept falling. Yesterday, the video I posted, it almost fell. It took me about 2 minutes to set it. So yeah. Yes, it didn't fall. It's my lucky day today. Okay, let's get started. The myrtles plantation. Before though, I wanted to recognize the fact that I did not write this article. This article I found online. It's written by Kelly McClure. I said that wrong. I'm so sorry if you're watching this, Kelly. So I did not write this. This is her account of what happened when she went to stay over there. So I'm gonna just be reading that because some of the accounts, the people that go, it's not really clear. They're not really that long, so I didn't want to put a bunch of people's accounts and they watch and they're like, hey, you didn't ask me, or anything like that. I don't want anything like that to happen, but whatever. Let me get started. Since I began writing for the Hauntists, I've been fascinated with the history of the myrtles plantation. Built in 1796 by General David Bradford, aka Whiskey Dave. When Louisiana was still considered a Spanish colony, the plantation changed hands in 1820 when it was sold to Bradford's daughter Sarah and her husband George Clark Woodruff, and then to Ruffin Gray Sterling and his wife in 1834. Its early history is riddled with every variation of tragedy, ranging from the hanging of slaves, death by poison, shootings, and yellow fever. It's been said by those who study the paranormal that ghosts don't so much haunt locations as they do people. But in the case of Myrtles Plantation, the soil is oozing with the trapped spirits who have suffered there, and you can feel that sorrow the minute you step on the property. And she starts to tell her time at the Myrtles Plantation and what happened and the things that she did. Now owned by a man named John Moss, the Myrtles Plantation is a popular destination in St. Francisville, Louisiana, that offers daily tours of the main house as well as overnight rentals, both in-home and in creepy and yet beautiful cabins on the property, such as the caretaker's quarters, where I personally stayed on November 15th. Ramping up on my one-night stay at one of the most haunted locations in America, I read Francis Kermean's book, The Myrtles Plantation, True Story of America's Most Haunted House, to get a better sense of what I was getting myself into. A former owner of the plantation herself, which nails home that yes, this place doesn't hold on to owners for very long. Kermean's accounts of her time here, which she makes several points of saying is 100% true, is nothing short of horrifying. According to her book, she experienced immediate frequent hauntings once on the property, sometimes violently so, and her friendships and relationships with her husband at the time was shattered by seen and unseen forces that brought out the worst in them. Knowing this, the idea of sleeping there, even for one night, seemed daunting, but I was still up for the challenge, as my reservations loomed closer and closer. I had the option of staying in one of the rooms in the main house, such as the Judge Clark Woodruff suite, which has its own private sitting room near the staircase where he died in 1871, or the William Winter room, where it said Cleo, a local voodoo priestess, was brought in to heal a child who was dying of scarlet fever and failed, which caused her to be hanged to death from a nearby tree. But I chose to instead to stay in the caretaker's quarters because I felt drawn to it, and not simply because it was untethered to the main house and had a private porch, which as a smoker appealed to me. When I arrived at the Myrtles plantation and completed the check-in process, I was guided to the cabin by a lady who has worked there for over 30 years and has been featured on many ghost hunting shows. Sadly, I didn't get her name, but as we neared the door of the cabin, she told me that it's haunted by the ghosts of the children who died in the main house, probably because it's small and seen as their playhouse. Who can be heard giggling from time to time, saying hello, and even lightly touching the noses of guests while they sleep. She also said that a former caretaker who lived in the cabin had been shot and killed there, and that his boots can be heard walking up to the door and stopping, and if he's angered, warns guests by slamming the window shutters. She handed me my key and said that it's long been the case that if a person has trouble using the key to open the door, they'll experience heavy paranormal activity during their stay. But if it opens right up, the spirits will leave them alone. I opened the door on my first try, and she asked if I spent a lot of time around children, which I had to answer truthfully that no, I don't. She made a face as though this surprised her, because obviously the ghost children inside didn't mind me coming in. Once I put my stuff in the room, I calmed my nerves with a glass of wine. Yes, I bought wine, wouldn't you? And then made my way back to the main house for my complimentary tour, which went over the history of the plantation and told the story of the haunted mirror, which is said to hold the trapped spirits of Sarah Woodruff along with her two children. The tour guide said that sometimes people take photos of the mirror and then see strange things in them that they didn't see with their naked eye at the time. This is the photo I took. Do you see anything? I'll post it up here for y'all, and I'll also be posting pictures that we're taking around the plantation. There's many pictures of evidence. Some of them I found that they are true. One or two of them I wasn't completely sure, but I put them anyway. I mean, you decide if it's real or not, and if somebody does that professionally that watches my videos, hi, go ahead and check it out. Let me know. I'll be interested to figure out which ones are real and which ones are fake. When we came back outside after the tour, the sun was starting to go down, which meant it wasn't fun and games anymore. Things were about to get real. I have personally never seen a ghost before. I've definitely felt bad oppressive energy in certain places and situations, even had a few instances of sleep paralysis when I was little, but I've never seen a physical apparition or heard something go bump in the night. I had to wonder now how I would react if while in my cabin I came face to face with the paranormal. Luckily, I wasn't alone. I hauled my favorite person on earth with me to be my sidekick for the night, and we had busied ourselves with the snacks we brought and the before mentioned wine until it was time to go to bed. At 2:30 a.m., I woke up having to go to the restroom, which is the worst possible thing that can happen to you when you're terrified and in the dark. I laid in bed looking around the room while trying not to actually look at anything for about 45 minutes. And then finally, using the light on my phone, made my way to and from the bathroom without any incident. I fell back to sleep eventually and was surprised when I woke up again and the sun was shining through the window. It was morning. Nothing happened. Was I actually disappointed about that? Once I got home and time to process my story at the Myrtles, I had to consider my assertion that nothing happened. While I slept in the cabin, I had a dream that was unlike any dream I've ever heard before. I haven't told anyone about this until right now. In my dream, which was vague apart from this one flashing detail, I was lying on my back on the floor back on the floor on some strange place, holding my arms up to two child-sized ghosts floating above me, a boy and a girl. They were outlined in orange broken lines, like the lasso function on Photoshop, and holding their arms outstretched to me in return. We never connected, but I can't help but wonder if those were the ghosts of the children who lived in the caretaker's cabin, attempting to contact anyone that they could. Maybe I was so guarded to experience them in my waking hours, so they came to me in my dreams. Days after, I still felt strange, and after returning, saged my apartment just in case. I love that story. I mean, it doesn't have too much paranormal things that happen, but it's still very compelling. I loved it. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. But like I said, I'll post pictures of it really happened. My time turned out. That story was really, really long. But I'll be posting another video today about close encounters, the classified close encounters, like the steps of UFOs. I got requested to do it, so I'm gonna do it. My husband requested it, and I love him, so I'm gonna do it for him. I don't mind. And so until I see y'all again, Happy New Year. I hope everyone stays safe. Don't drink too much. Do not drink and drive. Remember, it's not only your life at stake. But I hope y'all have a good day, guys. Remember, stay scared, my Nikki Loos.